So let's jump right into the core issue that sits at the very heart of South Africa's agricultural survival. How exactly do you build a prosperous, forward-looking agricultural sector in an economy that's still defined by really deep inequality? It's not just about planting seeds anymore. It's about equipping real people with the exact skills they need to thrive in a constantly shifting landscape. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the dual economy we're dealing with. On one hand, you've got this small, highly resilient commercial sector. We're talking roughly 40,000 commercial farmers who are incredibly well-resourced. They adapt to climate challenges remarkably well. But sitting right next to them is a massive, significantly under-resourced emerging sector. This is made up of small-scale and subsistence farmers, and get this, it's estimated to be at least 10 times larger in sheer numbers. To see how they plan to bridge this massive gap, we've broken this explainer into 5 quick chapters: a tale of 2 sectors, the skills mismatch crisis, AgriSETA Strategic Blueprint, high-impact skill programs, and finally, empowering the future workforce. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, a tale of 2 sectors. Let's look at how this foundational dual economy imbalance creates entirely unique challenges for everyone involved. Stepping right into the middle of this massive divide is AgriSETA. They are essentially the catalyst for capacitating the entire agricultural sector. Their statutory mandate is to provide the critical skills development necessary to grow the economy as a whole and to ensure food security for everyone, whether we're talking about a massive commercial exporter or a rural subsistence farmer. Now, the crucial point to take away here is that this strategy isn't just about farming. As the minister highlights here, it's fundamentally about driving inclusive economic growth. It's about bringing everyone along for the ride. The goal is to make post-school education absolutely accessible, actively pulling marginalized groups right into the economic fold. Moving on to Section 2, the skills mismatch crisis. This is our main antagonist here. To achieve that inclusive growth, we really have to confront the immediate barriers in our way. What's really fascinating is how this skills mismatch looks totally different depending on which side of the sector you're actually on. Commercial enterprises, they desperately need high-level technical and managerial skills, plus basic literacy for their unskilled workers. But emerging farmers need something else entirely. They need mentorship, corporate governance, and the actual know-how to access formal markets. So a one-size-fits-all training program, it literally fails both groups. And this lack of aligned skills has severe real-world consequences. Just look at this jarring number: 45,000 agricultural jobs lost in the second quarter of 2024 alone. While the sector did show some resilience early in the year, this sudden drop really highlights just how volatile agricultural employment can be, especially when hit by economic pressures and environmental curveballs like El Niño-induced droughts. This kind of job volatility directly worsens the crisis of NEET individuals. That's an acronym for people not in employment, education, or training. It represents a profound gap in opportunity that threatens long-term economic stability. Both AgriSETA and the broader government are fiercely targeting this exact demographic, trying to build pathways that pull them directly into sustainable agricultural work. Which brings us to Section 3, AgriSETA's Strategic Blueprint. Let's see how they plan to actually bridge this gap. Cutting through all the dense government policy, the National Skills Development Plan boils down to a few key outcomes. The absolute top priority? Linking classroom education directly to actual workplaces. It's about heavily empowering our TVET, that's Technical and Vocational Education and Training, and CET colleges. Because honestly, we have to stop producing graduates who have great theoretical knowledge, but zero practical workplace experience. Jumping into Section 4, high-impact skill programs. Let's look at how this high-level strategy translates to the ground. Well, because slow and steady just isn't going to cut it, AgriSETA is prioritizing what they call SIHIPs. That stands for SETA Integrated High Impact Programs. This is a massive shift toward collaborative action. So instead of small, isolated workshops, these are designed to accelerate skills development for mass impact across the entire sector, leading up to 2030. This table breaks down the 6 core SIHIPs, and you can see exactly how they plan to tackle multiple crises all at once. Notice how comprehensive this is. They aren't just teaching people how to plant crops. They're fostering SME development to create sustainable entrepreneurs. They're pushing digitization to bring the 4th industrial revolution straight to the farm. And crucially, they're focusing heavily on rural development to alleviate poverty right where it hits the hardest. Let's look at how this builds a concrete pathway out of poverty. It's designed as a clear three-step progression. First, a rural learner gains foundational skills at an empowered TVET college. Second, they move seamlessly into a workplace-based program brokered by the SETA. And third, they either launch a sustainable enterprise or secure formal employment. It literally closes the loop from learning all the way to earning. Finally, Section 5, Empowering the Future Workforce. Let's look at who actually wins when this massive plan succeeds. As you can see, the workforce is predominantly Black African, accounting for 75% of employees across both permanent and temporary roles. This makes broad-based transformation and equitable skills access an absolute economic necessity. Simple fact, if we don't uplift this 75%, the entire sector just stagnates. But it's important to note that not everyone is winning right now. Take a look at this. There was a shocking 11% drop in permanent female agricultural employees in 2024 alone. This alarming statistic clearly shows exactly why women are an aggressively targeted priority in this new strategic plan. The sector simply cannot afford to bleed female participation at this rate. Furthermore, we're seeing a really unacceptable decline in representation for people with disabilities. Over the last 5 years, there's been a drop in every single occupational category for this group, except for the most basic elementary roles. AgriSETA is aiming to reverse this regression head-on through targeted funding and by partnering with special schools to provide high-level training. So when you boil it all down, the ultimate goal of all these policies, all the acronyms, and all the funding mechanisms is to empower these specific vulnerable groups: the youth, women, people with disabilities, and the vast network of emerging farmers. They are literally the future of South Africa's food security. To make sure this happens, AgriSETA is anchoring this entire 5-year mission on their core values of trust. That's transparent, responsible, unity, service delivery, and teamwork. It's a commitment to transform the sector from the ground up, making sure levy funds are used responsibly to empower everyone, from the commercial manager right down to the rural learner. I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. The strategic plan is solid, and the pathways for sector skills development are clearer than ever. But against the ticking clock of a changing climate and highly volatile economic shifts, is our skills revolution moving fast enough? Thanks for joining me today. Keep questioning the data, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.